When did you come to this decision that you were resigning your post here as town manager?
So, I would say it was over the course of the past month through conversations with my wife and a couple close personal friends and confidants. And ultimately, it's a really tough decision. I know I've thought about leaving a couple times in the past for other opportunities, but as I looked at coming out of the pandemic, hopefully, and I look at my youngest son entering kindergarten next year, and the combination of the stresses of this job, that is a stressful job even in good times, and is certainly a stressful job in tough times like we've had over the past couple of years, and my desires to do potentially new and different things. I came to the tough decision to say, you know what, I think I need to close a door before I can open the next one. And ultimately, I'd sort of set an artificial deadline of making the decision by March 1st. And I got there and made the decision to pull that proverbial lever on March 1st and let the board know.
You have steered, since I've been here, the last 3 years, you've steered this town through some pretty tough times. We had the controversial Lieutenant Pedrini case, obviously, which had to take its toll, took its toll on everybody. Let's face it. Also, without a doubt, the pandemic was huge. And also, we have a new high school being built, which is changing the skyline of Arlington. That's a lot of pressure. Did any of those variables or any other variables make you come to the conclusion that you came to?
Sure. It's all part of it, right? Certainly issues around Lieutenant Pedrini and race and policing in general have been very stressful for me, and I'm sure for many across the community, for residents with concern, and for police officers, right? It'd be a very challenging set of circumstances. The pandemic, that was obviously stress worldwide, right? We all had our own version and dealing with significant stress from the pandemic. And then I think, I would say this job, if you're doing it right, in a lot of ways can be a 24/7 job, right? And I'm not saying that I'm getting woken up by calls every night by any means, but you're on, right? You're receiving incoming texts and emails and calls in the evenings, on the weekends. And, I think that wears on anybody if they're being honest with you. And I'm not saying that, that I want or I'm expecting a much slower life in the future. But I think the pandemic has given me the perspective that I need to appreciate the time that I have more thoroughly, and a better understanding that nothing's promised. So, and I'm in a circumstance where I have young children, and they're rapidly aging, as kids do. And I want to figure out if I can take this opportunity to maximize time I spend with them while I'm young and healthy. And hopefully I have a good long life ahead of me, but wanting to be able to look back 10, 20, maybe 30 years from now and say, I'm glad I took that pause to be able to both refocus and recharge myself, but also maximize the time I spend with my kids when they were at a certain age.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've seen the hours you put in. You're putting in the daytime hours. You're also putting in a lot of weekend hours. You're attending events, the latest being the high school tour, pandemic, at night, select board meetings, every other type of meeting you can imagine. So you were putting in long hours, and you do have a personal life. Do you have any idea where you want to go from here? You've hit a fork in the road now, right or left, and what is it if it is right or left?
So I know the kind of work I want to do, and it might still be in local government or government, but I think, as folks in town know, I'm very passionate about sustainability work. I'm passionate about finding ways to increase the affordability of housing for people living in the region. I'm passionate about race, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. I'm passionate about those issues. And I hope that I can carve out and find an opportunity that either focuses very directly on one of those areas, or finds a way to cross-cut all of them. And again, I'm not like, I don't have a place that I'm going, and I'm not so proud or arrogant to kick anything aside before I know where my opportunities lie. So I very well might find myself back in local government. I think there's lots of nonprofits who do interesting and challenging work around the region. So I'm hopefully going to take this opportunity to explore some of those things, and to take a line from a friend of mine who has been giving me some advice through this is, sometimes you got to slow down to speed up.
Mhm.
And I hope that can be like a little bit of an opportunity here to slow down. But I'm passionate about a lot of things, and I want to have an impact on the world. And I hope I'm able to find my way to do that.
Well, you certainly had an impact here. When is your last day as town manager in Arlington?
So I've told the board that I would stay on through June 17th. So in some ways it's a long goodbye, but my contract calls for a 90-day notice. Notice through June 17th is just a little bit beyond that. And what I hope I can do is work with the town and the board to get through town meeting, get the FY23 budget adopted, and make sure we get as long into developing a transition plan as possible, because it's important to me to make sure we're leaving the town in stable hands. I know that the team working for the town today is second to none, so there are good hands for the town to be left in. The residents and those participating in boards, committees, and commissions are all outstanding. So there's a great team there as well. But yeah, I want to make sure we can wrap up town meeting, wrap up the budget, and get a transition plan in place. And then my plan would hopefully be to take some time over the summer and figure out what's next, and then re-engage in something in September. I don't, that's all. If everything goes to plan, right? And goes to plan, and saying I don't exactly have a plan, but that's, in a perfect world, that would be how things shake out for me. But I'll be taking some time to think about what's next and looking at some things that it might be out there. And timelines may change after June 17th, but that would be my goal as I sit here today.
Well, we'd like to follow the trajectory of your career, because we know it's up simply because of what you've done here for the town of Arlington. What would you say were your greatest accomplishments here in town?
I think I would say that the things, it's always hard to feel like you're bragging, right? And it's all been a team effort. But I think the thing I'm most proud of is the team of people that I've been able to partner with and work with here in Arlington. And if I'm gonna brag for a minute or be boastful, I think I've had the ability to recruit and retain a really good group of people to lead town departments. And if I was gonna look back, 10, 20 years from now, from a legacy point of view, I think I would look back and really be proud that I was able to surround myself with such an amazing group of passionate, hardworking folks. On a topical area, I think the area of work that I've been passionate about since I started here as deputy town manager in 2010, I remain passionate about, and probably even more passionate about, are issues of climate and sustainability. And I think the long list of things that we've been able to accomplish as a team, from putting solar panels on school roofs to rolling out the Arlington Community Electricity Program, to being part of the team that designed and is now building what will be an all-electric and hopefully someday net zero high school, rolling out electric vehicles for town use, and other things along that list, I think are among the things I'll be most proud of going into the future.
I know, as you said, this is a long goodbye, and June 17th is the date that seemingly your last day. What would you like to say to the people of Arlington?
I mean, I would say to the people of Arlington, first, foremost, and always, thank you. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I've had here. Being a kid who grew up in Fall River, of meager means and lower middle class upbringing, to have the opportunity to grow my career and work with the people I've worked with in Arlington will be, it will, I think, always be the honor of my career, right? It has been an incredible 10 years as manager, and a couple of years before that as deputy. And then going forward, I've said this over the course of the past few years, that Arlington is a wonderful place, made up of wonderful people. And I hope all the folks involved can remember to go hard on the issues and easy on the people. because we have tough issues before us, right? And there's so many tough challenges that we've tackled and more tough challenges to come. And tackling them is challenging, but we're all human. And that means that we make mistakes. We're not always right. But hopefully we're all doing our best to move things forward for the betterment of the community. So I don't think I coined the phrase, but I've been trying to use the phrase of, go hard on the issues, easy on the people. And that way you can come, I think that is a roadmap to coming through hard issues still with adhesion as a community.